hey there. I didn't see you. Welcome to the third episode of Champion Connections. I'm your host, Chris Coleman, and today we have a really good friend of mine hailing from the West Coast, Monique Muro, a blogger, a poet, and an author who is just doing some great things. We met through a LinkedIn group, and she actually interviewed me for one of her series on her blog, but I won't get into too much there. I'll let her explain it. Enjoy.
My name is Monique Muro. I've loved writing since I was like a little girl, and when I was about 25, I decided that I really need to do something about this writing. I got a job in an internet marketing company, and I was becoming kind of like comfortable with that. I was working 9 to 6, and I would come home and I wouldn't really do much, and I would just kind of like party on the weekends. And I was like, there's got to be something else. I need to really like redirect my passions and just do something else on the side. So what I did was I decided I needed to go back to writing, which I really loved, and I decided to start a blog on my quest to write a novel, because previous times I would be writing a novel and then I would just kind of forget about it and I would get stuck. I would get bored with the plot and I would just kind of desert it. So I decided maybe starting a blog to kind of like document the process of me writing a novel would really help me out. It would get other readers, to read it and perhaps give me feedback or whatever, or give me motivation or something.
Definitely.
But what ended up happening was I found out that I really enjoyed blogging more than I liked actually writing my novel. So I was like, okay, that's a little bit of a problem, but it's a good problem, because it was like, okay, I found something that I really enjoy. Now, writing is something that I really enjoy, but I guess blogging became more of an interesting outlet for me when I had started that. So since then...
When did you start, actually?
I started that blog in 2011. So it was about 2 years ago. And it was probably like mid-2011. Yeah. And I just kind of I realized it was kind of a better place for me to express my interests, things I was interested in, other side projects I was working on. I really enjoy video editing. I really enjoy digital art, and I decided, this would be a great outlet for that. And I also had a lot of ideas on the side for, websites and mobile applications. And I was like, I've got to do something with these ideas, And so my blog for a while was just me trying to figure out what I wanted to do with all those ideas.
Yeah.
And then I finally decided in 2012 that I wanted to go to business school to try and do something about that. Instead of kind of, twiddling my thumbs, what should I do about this idea? I don't know how to get started. I'm lazy. I don't know where to go, So basically I applied to business school, and I ended up getting waitlisted for USC, and sort of still waiting to hear back from them. So, but...
Now, did you originally go to school coming out of high school, or...?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I probably should have touched on that. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach.
Oh, man.
Yeah, with a, it was like an English degree with an emphasis in creative writing.
Okay.
So yeah, that was what, I guess initially what I first did. I was in creative writing, and I realized, I can't really do too much with that at the time. And I was like, I'll just get a job, find something. And I ended up really enjoying, though, the job that I have now. It's at an internet marketing company, and they're actually a startup, too. So they're actually the ones that got me really motivated to, start my own startup. So, yeah, that's basically where I'm at now is I'm waiting to hear back from USC.
Okay.
But I'm also preparing for, if I don't hear back, or if I do, don't make the cut this semester, whether or not I want to reapply, or even just pursue something else. I mean, not pursue other passions, but like find a better way to learn how to pursue those passions.
Got it. So, could you touch on how you got a creative writing degree and work at an internet marketing company? How did that happen?
Wow, I'm not really sure. Actually, when I first graduated from college, I started doing like a little bit of like online writing.
Okay.
There's sites like article writing, like on Examiner.com, and there's like Suite101.com. You know, just these little like websites where you can sign up and write articles, and sometimes they pay you for some of them. You know, if they get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
But I was still working at Starbucks, and I was kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. You know I want to write, but I don't know what to do with that. It's aside from just writing online a little bit. At the time, blogging didn't really seem like an option. I didn't really know too much about it. And so I was applying for all kinds of jobs. You know, after you get out of college, you just want like a professional job, so you're not like a bum with a college degree, you know? So I was like, oh God. So I ended up just like looking on Craigslist, and I found this internship at this internet marketing company like right down the street from me. So I ended up, it was like part-time. It was sort of like, in the beginning, it wasn't what I wanted. I was like, oh my gosh, it's part-time. Oh, it's just an internship, you know, like I don't have time for this. I need a full-time job.
Yeah.
But they ended up hiring me. So, and now I work there full-time, and it's been, you know, really great professional experience. And it's just a good thing to have, you know. I'm kind of still like, I'm not sure where I want to go. I have these ideas, but I need to put them into action, you know. So it's a great job to have while I'm kind of in this sort of, I feel like, transition, I guess.
For sure. So, a question I have for you, you said you didn't really know like what to do when you were in terms of blogging or anything. How did you make that jump into the blogging world? Because there's so many blogs out there. It's hard to, it can get confusing.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, when you blog, you want to blog about like a certain, like a niche subject, you know, because that's the way you're going to get traffic. That's the way you're going to market it, you know, blogging about cars or cats or dogs or whatever it is. So I guess what I did was, I mean, I kind of, once I found out that I didn't want to blog about writing a novel anymore, I played around with it. There was a few posts where I was writing in the third person, and there was a few posts where I was just trying to be funny. I was like, none of them were working out. Like, I don't know. I was like, you know what? Screw it. If I can't market this blog, whatever. I'm just going to write about what I feel and what I'm going through, trying to figure out where I want to go and how to pursue these passions. And maybe someone else who really wants to get started, you know, starting their own business or like pursuing something they're passionate about, jewelry making or whatever, maybe they'll read my blog and hopefully be inspired to do something that they're passionate about. That's basically what it comes down to. Like, I decided I'm not going to, you know, try and fit into some niche category. I'm just going to blog about things that that I'm going through while pursuing my own passions, and hopefully maybe that'll resonate with people. And I actually met a lot of cool bloggers along the way.
It seems like we're moving back into that trend of like people want genuine, authentic connections, whereas like I'd say like 10 years ago, these big brands, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, just served you up a product and that's it. You didn't really get to know anybody. So
oh, yeah, it's so easy. It's funny you should say that, because like social media allowed me to like notify Hershey's about this like defunct candy that I got, you know, and like they responded on social media, and then they like sent me a coupon in the mail just because like I had like tweeted about this like Kit Kat that came without like the little wafer part inside. It was like so stupid, but I don't know. I just thought it was really cool that you could sort of connect with these huge brands just with like, you know, typing to them, and there was this ability to kind of like make sure that we're not talking badly or that they're handling situations right. So it was kind of funny. But
how would you say? Because I found you in a LinkedIn group, right?
Yeah. So it was like the Passion series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did was I really wanted to have like guest bloggers on my blog. And I didn't know how to do that yet because I didn't have like, you know, I said like a niche category. So I didn't know where to look for guest bloggers because I didn't have like something that the blog was about. I mean, basically it was about me pursuing my passions. So I thought, well, maybe I should feature people like other bloggers like myself who are also pursuing their passions through blogging.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are pursuing their passions, but I guess I wanted to really target bloggers because blogging really helped me sort of figure out, some kind of direction. So what I did was I used actually initially a service called Haro. It's Help a Reporter Out.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I'm on there.
Yeah, I love that website. Well, basically it's like the emails, queries and stuff, but it's been so helpful. Anyway, so I posted a post in Haro about how I was seeking bloggers and like who are passionate and who felt like they were motivated to like change their lives through blogging. And I got like a handful of bloggers, and I started featuring them and, making connections with them. And it was really great to hear their stories. And then I sort of ran out of bloggers, and I was like, oh no, where should I go? And I started, I went to like different other websites, and I got a couple, but I didn't really, get too many, and I was worried, and I was like, oh, I'm not being like resourceful here. I don't know where to get these bloggers. So I decided, I'm going to try LinkedIn because I've been a part of that bloggers group forever, but I never participated because I was just, I don't know, I never got into LinkedIn too much, which I probably should, and I have more since. But so basically, I would lurk kind of in the group for a while, and then I finally decided I was going to post a post that I was like seeking passionate bloggers, to sort of tell me their story and how they, or how blogging had influenced, their direction or, things like that. And I got kind of an overwhelming response. Like I got so many bloggers. And I was like, oh my gosh, and they all had really unique stories, and I really wanted to feature all of them.
Yeah.
But then I ended up getting booked till like November or December, and I was like, okay, I gotta like tell people that, maybe next year to contact me because it was like too much. But I loved every second of it. I read every single like email that came through, and I just was so like grateful to have that experience to connect with bloggers who were similarly passionate. And every time I feature one every Wednesday, it's just a really neat experience to be able to share their story, with whoever reads my blog.
That's really awesome. Like when I found you, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Never seen anything like this. So.
Yeah, and I think this is really great what you're doing too with like the video. This is my first interview.
Yes.
So I was like really looking forward to it, and I was like, whoa, dude, I totally would do this. Like I don't know, it's not something you do every day.
when you make it big, when you write that novel, don't forget the little people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and actually, blogging really. It's weird. I started blogging because I wanted to write a novel. I got away from the novel, and now I'm like totally back into it. I want to write a novel again. I want to probably more nonfiction. I think that's my expertise, I guess you could say. But yeah.
So how would you say you got your message to stand out in those type of social groups? Because there are tons of messages that people put up there. But yours seemed to have an overwhelming response. How do you think you got yours to stand out?
Yeah, I'm not sure because, I know that, a lot of people post in those groups and they want, some of it is spam every once in a while comes through, like my blog. But I know that when I go there, I want something that's useful and something that I can read, something that's going to help me out, something like valuable information. And before I actually posted the post seeking passionate bloggers, I posted a few other posts just like that I thought were helpful for bloggers. Like, I think I was on a blogging website. I don't know what it was, but I posted a few helpful posts and I would comment on things just to show that I was kind of interacting with the community. And then, I don't know, I figured I would write, seeking passionate bloggers, and I figured that whole group was like consisted of passionate bloggers. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put that. And I think I was like, I'll be lucky if I get at least 5 bloggers. I was like, I'll get like 5 or 6 people that are interested, and then that'll be it. But obviously I got like more than I bargained for. But I don't know, I just kind of went with what I guess if I was a blogger looking for an opportunity, what I would hope to see. and just kind of did it that way.
Okay.
So,
Well, obviously, you fed people some content, you got involved, you got engaged, so it wasn't just like, who the heck is this? Like,
yeah, I'm hesitant to kind of like join communities and just start like posting, because I know that, then you're like, well, who is this, So I kind of wanted to get involved with the community a little bit before I started like asking something from them, you know? So.
So outside of the Passion series, how can you say that, I guess your experiences with failure and success have helped to build up everything or anything that you're looking to do?
Well, I'm of the belief that like, little failures and little successes are what really drive me because, everyone fails, that's nothing new, but I had this one little success that really made me feel like I was on the right path. After about a year of blogging, I went to this poetry reading because, I love poetry, so I love writing poetry as well. So I went to this poetry reading, and it was like open mic night, so anyone could sort of go up there and start saying their poetry. And I had a friend of mine who invited me, and I was like, okay, I'll go. I'll read my little poems, and we'll see if people like them, whatever. But when I was at the poetry reading, it turned out that this one lady that went up to read had somehow found one of my blog posts, and instead of reading one of her own poems, she wanted to start out by reading an excerpt from my blog post.
Oh wow!
And I was so grateful, and I was so surprised and appreciative that that she would do something like that, and I started crying a little bit. I was like, oh my god!
Did she know you were there?
She did not know I was there.
Ah.
But I think she found my blog because the poetry event was a Facebook event.
Okay.
And I had agreed on Facebook to go, so maybe she just was browsing about the attendees and kind of stumbled upon my Facebook profile, and maybe somehow she got to my blog through that.
Yeah.
But it was she had started off I don't know if she's here, but I found this blogger and I wanted to read her post, and while she was reading, I just could not believe. And as a writer, you want to you want your work to kind of have impact on people. You want them to be moved by it, and just the fact that she was moved by this blog post that I really didn't even put too much thought into just made me extremely grateful, and it made me feel this isn't too big of a deal, but this is something that really makes me want to move forward in this direction. And even though I'm blogging, I'm still writing, which is still what I love.
Yeah.
And it really anytime I'm ever I don't know about this blogging thing, I always think back on that night, and every time I'm no one's reading this, I am you know what, someone is reading it, and if it's helping to shed a little light in someone's life, then that makes me happy.
Yeah. So we both know, because we're bloggers, that it's a very tough world to break into. And when people aren't coming, how do you, I guess, work up the mentality to stay consistent? Even though you're only getting, say, 5 views a day, and you're this isn't working, no one's coming.
I know. Well, when I started blogging, I told myself, you know what? Before I even try to do anything with this blog, I need to fill it with a bunch of content, because I just felt I didn't want people to visit my blog and then see 2 posts and lose interest. So initially, the first year that I started blogging, I didn't really expect too many people to start following it.
Yeah.
I shared my blog posts. It took a lot of courage to share my blog posts on Facebook, because they're so kind of personal sometimes, and I just kind of throw them out there. But over a span of, I want to say 6 months after sharing them on Facebook, I started to get a few of my friends Facebook message me, and they would tell me oh, I really enjoy your blog, keep it up. And I was like, you know what? Okay, if they like it, maybe a few other people would like it too, And then after about a year, or I don't know, maybe about a year and a half, I knew how hard it was going to be to try and build an audience and get tons of readers. So I just kind of looked at it from as long as I'm doing something that's hopefully valuable to people and sharing it to social communities here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'll get some readers. And then I started going into more like SEO. I got like an SEO plugin for WordPress, and started slowly but surely trying to, get more traffic by using keywords and just little SEO tactics here and there. And I don't put too much effort into that because I don't want to get too caught up in like the analytics of it, because I've been so overwhelmed by the analytics before. I was like, oh my god, I only got 10 page views today. What the hell? And I'm like, this isn't what it's about, Monique. This is like, you're supposed to be having fun with this. You shouldn't be beating yourself up. And then I lost a blog subscriber, and I was like, oh, my life is over.
That's like losing a Facebook friend or MySpace. That's like losing your spot on MySpace back in the day.
Yeah, and even like on MySpace, I was like, oh my god, I lost a friend. Oh my god. Or on Twitter, I lost a follower, So I had to like take a step back and be like, you know what, Monique, you're focusing too much on, trying to make this blog like this amazing thing and get all these people. But sometimes that, that could detract away from the whole reason why you started it and the whole passion behind it. So I do like attend to some of the SEO things, and I do try and promote it in different ways sometimes, but I try and just focus on, making a beautiful post.
So can you speak about how you, obviously you say you don't do too much tactic stuff, but getting an email subscriber is tough. Can you let viewers know how you built up an email list?
Well, I guess I had been reading a lot about how to build your subscriber list, and I do not have a huge one. But the things that I did read about it were basically like sometimes you have to ask for them to subscribe. Like not like every single post be like, hey, don't forget to subscribe. I didn't want to like, my whole thing, which I hate doing, is trying to like force people to do something they don't want to do. So when I was reading these articles, like sometimes you have to ask for people to subscribe. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna ask people, dude. Like if they like it, they'll subscribe.
Yeah.
But then like I was like, okay, maybe one post I'll try it, and it was actually a pretty decent post because it was about this ebook that I was writing, and I was gonna make it free for my subscribers. So I kind of was like, hey guys, I'm writing this ebook. If you subscribe, I'll make sure you guys get it for free. But even though all subscribers were going to get it for free anyway, but like basically the perk to subscribing would be
the fear
to get
of loss concept.
So I was like, okay, I'm writing this ebook. Once it's done, if you subscribe, you'll be the first to know, obviously, because you'll get it in your inbox. And I got like maybe 2 or 3 subscribers after that. I was like, whoa, I mean, that's not a lot, but it was like a starting point,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, sometimes maybe you do have to ask for it. And so I think maybe I asked for it maybe one more time. I just was like, hey, by the way, if you really like it, sometimes I don't post everything on Facebook. So if you like what you're reading, just, subscribe. And then after that, it was kind of a lull. I didn't really get too many more after that. And then when I posted the Passion Series thing on LinkedIn, I actually ended up getting quite a few more subscribers, which I'm really grateful for, because I think maybe the people I was connecting with, wanted to stay connected somehow, and they figured maybe subscribing to the blog would be a great way. And I try and subscribe to people's blogs too, just because I want to, see what they're up to. And, I get kind of sad when they don't have like a subscribe option. I'm like, oh, I want to subscribe, because it's hard to keep up with like all the blogs that you like.
Definitely.
And it's easier if you can get them like by email whenever they post, So it's not too much of a list, but I feel like it's slowly growing. It's weird, and my friends are slowly catching on, and they're like, oh, cool, I'll subscribe, so it's slowly building, but I don't really have like a hardcore method, unfortunately.
Hey, I mean, you have one person more than someone else has it, so.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, since you write a lot, does that mean you read a lot as well?
I love reading, but it takes me forever to finish a book nowadays. And I think it's because I'm so wrapped up in blogging and trying to learn stuff so that I can, one day start my own company. I'm trying to every time I have free time, I always want to spend it like learning something. but I really do need to. When I was younger, I read a lot, and I think maybe last year I read about 3 books. It was so bad, but that is something I really do need to make time for, and because I love it.
Well,
but
since you're not reading books, technically you're still reading though, like because you're learning how to.
Exactly. Yeah, and I spend a lot of my time on different websites just trying to learn more. So I guess I do quite a bit of online reading, but I guess I've been reading. I'm on my 2nd book this year, or 3rd maybe. I don't know. So I wish that I wasn't so wrapped up in other things that I enjoy doing also, so that I could read more. So that's it's one of my goals, though. I definitely want to read more, like books, because that's like, I love reading so much.
So, all right, if you could name 2 books that you would suggest for somebody looking to start out on a journey or become a blogger, poet, musician, business owner, what would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest the 2 books that actually got me going. They were awesome books. They were, number 1 is Trust Agents by Julian Smith and Chris Brogan. And the second one is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, good book.
by Stephen Covey. It's a very good book. And I don't know, those 2 books, I read them kind of back to back. Not really thinking about it. I think I just had them, and I bought them like a while ago, and I read them back to back, and man, I was ready to take on the world after that.
See?
So I would suggest those.
Okay, so let's break it down. The 7 habits. We'll do 3 habits that you've noticed since starting or pursuing this journey. Originally it was your book, but now it's blogging. What have you changed to make you a better you? Big or small?
I would say mostly it's just thinking differently. I wouldn't be able to kind of I don't think break it down into specific certain things, but I do feel like I've gotten really sort of spiritual, I guess you could say, like within the past year or so, and not so focused on, petty things. I just kind of told myself that, we're all human, we're all specks of dust, pretty much, if you consider the size of the universe, and, that we're sort of just visiting on this planet for a little while, and a lot of things just they're not that important to worry about, like specifically, I guess, I used to worry that I wouldn't do anything with my life, and I used to really just worry about, I put my focus on the wrong things. I was interested in being liked and accepted, and finding like the right boyfriend. It was just like little things like that. And I was like, you know what, Monique, you need to just, life is too short to be worried about these little things. You need to just go out, enjoy yourself, pursue the things that you love, and you know what, like, you need to be happy with what you have. And that takes a long time. I mean, it took me like a year and a half to feel, like, at least to feel like that, just to feel that kind of happy with my life as it is. So, I don't know, it was a weird shift from 25 years old to now. I don't know. It was weird.
So, once you made that mindset decision, did you see that the things that you were worrying about, the opposite was beginning to come true? Like, you were meeting the type of people that you wanted to meet. You were that boyfriend that you had in your mind. Guys like that begin to come into your life. Did you find that to be the case?
Little by little, it did. I mean, I wish I could say as soon as I started thinking like that, everything was perfect. But it was kind of like slowly but surely things started falling into place. Like that instance at the poetry reading. That in 2012 started, I was like, you know what, I'm done thinking negatively. I'm done putting myself down about things. This is what I want to do. I just need to focus on doing that, baby steps. And after that thing happened it was like the very first week of the year, the new year, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so awesome, and ever since then, it was just like little things. Like I felt like I was meeting more people, and like I was connecting with people on like Twitter, and like they were reading my blog. You know, it was just like little things that were happening to me as soon as I sort of shifted my mentality and got sort of away from, I want this, I won't be happy till I have this, and sort of just kind of accepting everything for what it was. You learn to find like the little like miracles in every day that happen, you know, like little good things that happen every day. So
sounds like you found the secret to life. So celebrate every small success. We always want these huge things. That would be.
It's almost like some of the smaller successes are funner.
They are.
Know. They feel they're like so much more intimate and personal, and like, I don't know. There's something that you can always hold on to.
Exactly. Because those are probably the ones you remember the most. Like, you can say, "Oh, I won 20 Grammys," but you can always remember the day you got your first subscriber or your first song on the radio.
Definitely. It's just little things, you know, and I think they make a huge. After a while, you can like, I don't know, they're like a huge list of little successes, and you just be happy and grateful for those kinds of things.
So, do you have any type of goal planning or tracking that you do?
For all this that I've been talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this first half of the year has been a little scattered because I've been waiting to hear back from UCLA and USC about business school, because that was kind of determined where I was going to go.
Yeah.
You know, if I accepted, okay, then I would go to school for the next 3 years. If I didn't, I'd have to, you know, pursue other options or maybe reapply. So actually, I got waitlisted at USC, so I was still waiting to hear back from there if I do get in. Now, if I don't get in this semester, I have two options. I can either reapply, or I can go a different route. And I'm leaning towards going a different route a little bit, because I actually found some classes offered at Otis. It's like a digital art design college, and I was thinking of sort of getting into that more, because I want to design this app, this mobile app, and I was like, you know what, it would really help if I like took some classes there, just to kind of learn some like digital design, and you know, even they have a class on how to develop an app, and so I'm thinking I might pursue that route if I don't get into USC this semester, just because it really caught my attention. You know, I was like, oh my God, Otis is offering these classes for people who want to like, you know, better themselves or, you know, advance their career or whatever. So I think I might go that route if I don't get accepted at USC, but we'll see. I might even reapply to USC. So basically, I'm kind of in a limbo period because I'm waiting to hear back from them. And if I don't, you know, I'm just gonna say screw it. I'm gonna take classes to learn how to design this app and just do it and see what happens.
There it is.
We'll see.
I think if more people had that mentality, like, so many more ideas would get made.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I try and talk about on my blog too. Because I mean, I'm scared to try and just do it. You know, it's not as easy as it sounds. You know, but I definitely feel like you need to kind of get out of your comfort zone to do something cool. I think sometimes.
This is good stuff. Like.
Yay! First interview. I'm glad you like it.
Oprah, here we come. All right, so I know we're running out of time.
Okay.
But if you could give someone, you know, that was in your shoes a year ago, 2 years ago, any advice on just going out and doing something, getting over that initial fear, what would you say?
I would say to start a blog. Just because that's what helped me, but I mean, if you don't want to start a blog, you know, you need to give yourself some kind of outlet to figure out what you want to do, because you know, I found myself sort of just lost at 25. You know, I was like, I have no idea what I want to do. And I was very anxious about it. And I think sometimes you can figure that out with a little bit of like silent contemplation, writing, if that's your thing, you know, just really kind of search inside yourself and figure out what you think about doing every day. And slowly but surely take on the steps to accomplish that. Slowly but surely. It's a slow process, but it won't happen overnight. But, you know, you do a lot of little things that people don't recognize, and then one day people notice.
Yeah. I always like to use this example. The creators of Angry Birds,
Oh yeah,
they created 35 other games over a span of 6 years before they made Angry Birds.
exactly. And
So
I know, like, even Twitter was completely, no one was using it for like 2 years
yeah,
before it took off to this amazing thing that it is today. It's like a giant.
yeah. Because if you didn't have a BlackBerry, you couldn't even really use Twitter.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing what you can accomplish.
Well,
Keep at it, people.
there it is, guys. You heard some great words of wisdom. Let everyone know where they can find you online, Twitter, whatever you like.
Okay, so the blog is ANovelQuest.com. So ANovelQuest.com. Twitter, you can find me at Monique Muro. MoniqueMuro. And those are some good. Those are basically where I hang out most often. So that's a good place to start.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. Don't stalk her. All I would say is it's daytime there, so just keep that in mind. And I thank you once again, Monique. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. You are awesome, and continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're inspiring a lot of people.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that talk as much as I did. I once again want to thank Monique for taking the time to talk to us about her adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to become a blogger, an author, a poet, you can do it. She had no experience. She used the internet to teach herself. So why can't you? Join me next week where I talk to a friend of mine who teaches you how you can hack your college education, whether you're in school or out of school, and how she met people such as Magic Johnson, Fahara Gray, Mark Cuban, was on MTV, rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange, and interned at Google while still attending college. You don't want to miss this one.